All right. It's your favorite political innovator, David Washington, here at the Jay and Washington Network, and we're back at the David Washington Show. It's been a while, so let's get right into it. SAM, SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a Strategic Plan, is a $20 million initiative launched by Democratic donors and strategists to address the party's declining support among young men, particularly in online spaces. The plan emerged as part of a broader effort to reconnect with working class voters following noted erosion of a significant matter of Democratic support in a trend that has been highlighted in recent articles by the New York Times and other posts like on X. The core of SAM focuses on studying the syntax, the language, and content that resonates with young men and gains traction in digital spaces where Democrats have struggled to maintain influence. This includes analyzing what drives attention and what makes things go viral in these communities. One specific recommendation from the plan is to buy advertisements in video games. A medium increasingly popular among targeted demographics, young men, young women, young adults, women, men in general. They want to better engage this demographic on platforms that they already frequent. Now, this is an effort of a larger Democrat introspection following the electoral setbacks in 2024. The party is grappling with a perception problem, and they need help. However, is SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a Strategic Plan, a $20 million effort initiated by Democratic donors and strategists? Those consultants are at it again. Are Democrats preparing themselves for midterm gains or eventual irrelevancy? So this is where, I'm going to talk a little bit more about where I stand in this particular debate. I'll start with a little positive. It's good that the opposition, the Democrats, and I refer to them as opposition because they're not the Democrats that I understand or grew up with or were influenced by. They're just not anymore. And that's why I'm no longer a Democrat. And it's disappointing because I've always been a lifelong Democrat. So when I see this, and when I read the New York Times article about SAM, it was a mix of emotions there. It's disappointing and it's frustrating. And let me add comical. However, it's good that the Democrats are looking at this situation and trying to come up with solutions. So bravo. Congratulations to the opposition for actually taking another step towards addressing their shortcomings, for understanding that they have a missing gear, that they have a problem. And understanding and acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step to recovery, right? So kudos to the opposition for understanding that there is a problem and they need to address it. Now, that's probably the best thing I could take out of this particular article. And there's supposed to be a series. let me get to the heart of the matter, and then I'm going to talk about personal experience. What I have an issue is that, damn, here we go again with the damn consultants and donors dictating what the average American can already tell you. Be in the spaces, be in the places, be where your targeted demographic is. That's one of the first things you have to understand. Go where your voters are, on their devices and on their front porches. Have a message that resonates. And the Democrats have moved so far, and being in this so far away from effective messaging. And again, working across the political affiliation spectrum, I understand the Democrat mind, the Republican mind, the liberal mind, the conservative mind to some extent to create effective campaign strategies. And what we see with the opposition, the Democrats, the liberals, is a message that resonates with a small demographic, a clique, a small group of people that will show up no matter what, that will not reason, not have a honest, intentional conversation and hear both sides of the story. And that's on both sides of the political spectrum and everything in between. There are folks who are going to show up no matter what. Your message has to be broader in the context of what matters to those individuals that you're targeting. There is a growing, whether it's here in Central Florida, in the nation, there's a growing non-party affiliate, independent, third-party electorate that conservatives and liberals are always trying to message to. There are individuals, low propensity voters, who feel so disengaged from politics that it's irrelevant to them. And the Republicans, and I can tell you this from firsthand knowledge, because I work in this field, the Republicans specifically made intentional efforts to speak to those low propensity voters. And it worked in 2024, locally and nationally. And so what the opposition needs to understand first, before they do any type of advertisement, please, been there, done that. Think outside the box, be creative. Stop using the same voices that are out there that you've leaned on over and over again, the same faces who have contributed very little to the political conversation, but conversation. Folks who never put their asses on the line, who never put their jobs on the line. Young, old, young, inexperienced, experienced. Folks who go to their district offices or their offices in DC, make a speech, and then disappear for weeks at a time. Stop being performative. Stop doing these stupid ass challenges or TikTok dances, and that's just stupid. And particularly for men, that's a freaking turnoff. It's just stupid stuff. So I'm on a tangent here. With this SAM plan, it's another step towards irrelevancy for the opposition. It's an acknowledgement that the Democrats really don't know who to talk to, how to talk to them, why they're talking to them, when to talk to them. It's an acknowledgement that their message to the working class, the middle class, it's gone. It's been co-opted by Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump resonates with the middle class, with the working class. And it showed in his performance in the swing states in 2024 and his reelection. Donald Trump has co-opted the middle class, working class message. Whatever feelings you may have about Donald Trump, and I've told you all this before on the other podcast, stop listening to him and watch how he moves. Watch how his loyalists, that's what I'll call them, his cabinet, his secretaries of state, treasury, defense, labor, health, agriculture, attorney general. Watch what they do. Read the legislation. Actually, abandon legacy media. Embrace independent media with reliable sources. Do your own damn research. Fact check. Your mind will be blown. Your world will open up. Because what Sam is going to do is just give you those supporters of the opposition, will just give you what they think you want to hear. And what would be effective for a candidate. And this is where politics has changed. It's not about party politics anymore. It's about the individual candidate. And if an individual candidate understands what I'm talking about right now, they would know that they are the messenger. They are the personal messenger of these voices, of these policies. They are the ones who will deliver on election day. We're hearing about decentralization of finance and all kinds of things. I strongly believe that the decentralization of party politics is happening now. It's already happened in the Republican Party, and now it's happening in the Democratic Party. And they're kind of stumbling around. But no longer can the party dictate the individual message I need to hear. And it's the candidate that needs to let their voters know, their constituents know what they need to hear. Not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And sometimes it is sour medicine. It's tough to take. However, just tell us. Tell us like it is. No holds barred. And let's have a conversation. Speaking of which, over this weekend, I had the opportunity to spend some time with my fiance's family. And it's about 15 of us of various ages. And for the most part, except for the younglings, everyone was either married or in a committed relationship. And so there was some karaoke singing, and, the ladies got up and sang, and, the guys with their wives or their girlfriends or, their fiancés, got up and sang, and kiddies sang. It was really cool. And then, as we, sat, took a break, had some pizza, whatever, the guys started a conversation. We had a conversation, which scanned a host of topics, including religion and politics. And this is where Sam, this strategic plan, should be all about. Being in a room like this situation I was in yesterday, candid conversation about religion and politics amongst the guys, and holding each other accountable to stick to the topic at hand, to stick to a respectful and tactful conversation, and stick to giving each other the grace to allow one another to get our points across. And to walk out of that room at the end of the night with greater respect for one another's opinion and points of view. It was great. And we did not agree on everything. However, every individual had an opportunity to lay down the facts as they know them. We did reference the Bible a couple of times. And shout out to Joshua. Check out his podcast, Give Me the Bible, Joshua Rodriguez. But we tactfully called each other out, and we tactfully required one another to demonstrate the factual basis of their argument. It was a great conversation. And boy, we did call each other out to stay on task, to provide evidence in a very respectful way. That is what the opposition should do. Talk to individuals, talk to young men, be in their space candidly, and hear what they have to say, hear what they're talking about, hear what matters the most to them, what their kitchen table issues are. Because they're in this conversation, we cover, there was a varying group of ages. Most of the group was, Latino. However, what was important to us is understanding that we had a point to make, and we gave each other respect to make those points. And that's where candidates need to be. Let's set aside the political parties, because we're decentering. I like using that word in my head. Decentering political parties and candidates, politicals, campaign managers. They need to be in the room listening to these conversations and understanding that you don't need $20 million to do this, to effectively message to your voters. You just need to be in the room and willing to listen, willing to open your minds and your hearts to a different opinion, to a different point of view, to understand that maybe as the opposition, one of the reasons why you're losing voters, you're bleeding voters, not just here in Florida, but across the country, is because you stand with a particular issue that you're in the vast majority about, that you're alone. You got to be willing to change. And that means having an open heart and open mind. And I think that's a heavy lift for the Democrats, a very heavy lift for the Democrats. And when you talk about messaging to voters, your message has to be about them. And my suggestion, if you watch Countertop Politics, because I touched on this, my suggestion is provide those platforms or provide a specific platform where voters, where constituents, where citizens have an opportunity to make their own news, to report their news from their community, to engage. I'm not talking about some Facebook group or whatever. No, 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 no. Not that shit. No, 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 no. But to take on legacy media and provide a platform where communities, individuals report directly to one another instead of being reported to, but directly report to one another what's happening in their own communities, backed up by the facts, not feelings, not opinions, but the facts. And start from there. There's a lot of things that are happening in our world right now, a lot of innovations, a lot of different ways of doing things. And here at J. Washington, we have embarked on a new project. It's the T8020 community. A community that sits in Web3 on the blockchain that gives power back to individuals using tokens to create a community that says we're taking our voice back from legacy media, from the politicians who just come around and knock on our doors and send us ads when it's time for election. At T8020 community, we are creating a digital newspaper to take on legacy media, where the reporters, the correspondents are you, members of our community. So as part of the innovation that we love, is to provide this platform. Check us out, T as in Ted, T8020 community.com. Because it's long overdue that you, me, and everyone else in our community become better in our civic engagement to make our communities that much better and hold our media and our elected officials and our candidates more accountable. So I want to thank you for first coming back to the Dave Washington Show. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. And it's just really, it's fun. It's been great. These last 6 months have been a whirlwind. The T8020 community is live. Go get your token, join the community. It is about, I think you can purchase a token at $1.77. I think that was the cost this morning for the national token. We're going to be creating communities, cities, metros across the nation. We ambitious plans of over 15,000 cities, metros, municipalities. Very ambitious, and we know that we'll get there and we'll be able to do it. All that, read the white paper, read our mission, check it out. And of course, don't forget the Jane Washington Network. From the Margins with James Lafont. That should be the new title. From the Margins with James Lafont, because that show has just like exploded. And thank you, viewers, for checking out that show. It is now our new flagship show because Jimmy has done a great job with the views, with the engagement, the comments, and all that stuff. So, check out From the Margins with James Lafont. Again, Ground Zero Florida. I got to get used to saying that. That is the show that has taken the mantle from You Can't Make This Shit Up, Ground Zero Florida, issues that matter the most to all of us here in Florida. Of course, we have Battlefield Correspondent. This time around, we're talking about the Orange County, Florida, Mid-Decennial Redistricting Advisory Committee. Whole lot of politics going on. We got our first map in by Jimmy Afont. Check it out. I tried to give you all up-to-date details about what's happening on the committee, so please check it out. What else do we have? We have Countertop Politics, where we talked about the Speaking with American Man strategic plan. I think it's I don't know. Give me some of that money and I'll make sure we get you some votes. I don't understand this. So yeah, check out all of our podcasts. I think I got it all covered because, this is the David Washington Show. We're back, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more consistent. It's been busy, but you know something? Not being busy, it's just not. That's just not my station in life. So thank you. Like, share, particularly with those family members, those friends, influencers in the community that electeds, candidates, folks that you think will benefit from our content. Please share with them. You can like, comment. Love to hear what you have to say. And let's keep it respectful and tactful. You can set aside your feelings. However, bring your facts, okay? Again, this is the David Washington Show. Your favorite political innovator, David Washington, CEO and founder of Jane Washington LLC, your political innovators. God bless. See you the next time. Love you.